ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì wojire ilẹ̀ yìí ilẹ̀ ẹ̀yà lèkìtì ṣe oyè báyìí mọ̀ tó bóyin gbìyànjú sílẹ̀ kámúbàrún olèkìtì ayé mi ń jẹ́ jùyà. Èkìtì lọ́mọ olúṣù àrògùrò bẹ̀wọ̀ ọmọ olóṣè méjì takọtabo. Ìgbélárugẹ oúnjẹ àgbẹ̀dàgbàsókè lóríko. Èkìtì ní alára ọgbà ẹ̀dá òye. Ìṣèjọba kan dára ògbáyé gbádùn ara wò. Èkìtì ní alára ọgbà ẹ̀dá òye. Ìgbélárugẹ àṣà àti ìṣe àtúnṣe bí ìgbafẹ́. Èkìtì ní alára ọgbà ẹ̀dá òye.
The new tax reform law has got so many people talking from opposing sides. However, one thing that is certain is the level of misconception that has trailed the entire process. Not even the elite is spared. However, here in Ekiti, the chairman of the state's Internal Revenue Service, Mr. Niran Olatono, is offering the needed enlightenment on what the tax reform is all about and why Ekiti people have nothing to worry about. He also spoke extensively on the revenue generation model of Ekiti State and why the state is an investment destination of choice for investors. This is our focus on Ekiti on the Move this week. I am Tunji Saliu. Let's quickly have our news segment, Quick Takes. In focus this week, tax reform and Ekiti model of enhanced revenue generation.
Many, if not most, of the laws that we operate in Nigeria have been there since independence. We have been patching it. It's just like you are driving and then you have a flat tire today, you patch it. You have another flat tire tomorrow, you patch it. After a while, even the vulcanizer will tell you that, okay, why don't you buy another one? So we have patched those laws several times such that some of them have become very difficult to patch without having to patch it again. There's something. So it's more or less a bold step of Mr. President to say, look, a time has come for us to overhaul the old system. Some of the taxes are even nuisance taxes. Can we eliminate many of them? And can we focus on the main one, possibly, and it's with hope that we would even be able to generate more revenue than having so many. Let me give you an example of that happens in some of our churches. Because the churches need more money, and then they are calling offering 3, 10, 5, 15 times. At the end of the day, it's going to bore everybody. Why don't you consolidate it and say, okay, we're going to collect offering only 2 times, 2, 3 times, put everything in 3 envelopes, and that's it. Not that you call this with dance 30 minutes, you call another one. So it's still, that's the kind of analogy I can use to paint what is happening about the tax reform laws. That let's put as much together on the table. Is saying let us relieve the poor. At least about over 90% of taxpayers will get some relief. Because those that collect the big money that will pay a little higher, I'm not sure they have to up to 5% of taxpayers. So what Mr. President had in mind was what can we do to make life easier for Nigerians, for the common man? If you are earning 100,000 per month, for example, it's probable that you pay almost nothing at the end of the day, because that comes to 1.2 million at the end of the year. And if the initial 800,000 is not taxable, you are still going to claim rent relief that it could be up to 500,000. You will still claim Nigeria Housing Fund contribution to NSITF, if you pension scheme, insurance, life insurance, something. All these are still deductible. So if you earn 100,000 per month, you may end up paying zero. So under that kind, and even if you're a business owner, we have to concentrate more on the profit you make from that your small business, not the total revenue. So for somebody that all the things he or she says in a month is 100,000, I mean, by the time you knock off the cost, he will make profit of 100,000. So he is not going to pay as before. So it's to make life easy for people. Now, we have to also bear it in mind that there are guys who work online who earn big money from international businesses. They don't have shops, they don't have kiosks, and they are making some money. The only way the government will not be short of revenue is to now look at how can we widen the base, is to compel those of us that are in tax administration to think deeper, to think wider, to look at areas that we have not covered, to look at those people that have been escaping taxes over the period, and then bring them into the net, or those that have been underpaying, bring them into the net, so that at the end of the day, the poor are made to breathe, and then those that have more will now be able to contribute more. That's what it is basically. We have done our own simulation, and we've realized that an average Ekiti, in fact, I will say about 98, if not 99% of taxpayers in Ekiti State will pay less. I'm not even sure I can count 5 or 10 people that reside in Ekiti here that we can say, their own tax rate is going to increase. It's practically, we can't, except if some of them are trading, doing some other things that are outside our coverage now, maybe people that are under declaring their income. The new law would make it easier for us to identify such people. That's just it. So if your hands are clean, there's nothing to worry about. You would most likely pay less taxes come January. We all agree that the best thing is for states, houses of assemblies to also pass that harmonized bill, so that there will now be basis of collecting some of those taxes and rates come January 2026. But what we have done in Ekiti is to even go a little step further, because our own revenue law, we already saw the need to do some changes on it. We saw the need to update some of our rates, some of our levies, and what have you. And so what we have done is to take the template sent to us by Joint Revenue Board, which we are part of, and review it along with all our other laws that are needed some changes here and there. So what we have is not just the harmonized law, as it were, but that the old Ekiti State law, revenue law of 2019, with the amendments of 2020, everything is now put together initially to fuse about 7 of our taxes, so that they will be on one bill. And we should also put 3 of local government collectible to be on one harmonized bill, so that the taxpayer gets a bill and then he knows what he's supposed to pay as this, what he's supposed to pay as that, what he's supposed to pay as that. So that once he pays that, then you don't see the local government coming after him on tenement rate. You don't see another agency coming after that one. But thing now becomes easier, and then multiplicity of taxes will be well handled. So the intention is to actually answer all the questions of Nigerians on multiplicity of taxes, to reduce the taxes that are collected so that people will also be able to breathe. And now I'm happy that Ekiti State happens to be the first state to have that law passed. And of course, kudos to Mr. Governor, because he's been very, very tenacious about it. When we were having a commissioning of this revenue house, he promised the JRB team then, the chairman and the executive secretary of JRB, that if they that immediately they brought the law, we will look at it and I will pass it speedily. After all, Zamfara State have done they have passed their own. Anambra State has also passed their own, and I know quite a number of other states will still pass theirs. Number one is even to appreciate Mr. Governor himself, because what we have done is to push more for voluntary compliance. That is, people see what the revenue is being used for, and they are motivated to pay. If you go to the next building there is a desk meant for old people, because on their own, they will come. I have seen my land use charge, I want to come and pay. On their own, they come, they pay, and they go. So we have to make it easy for them to pay. So number one is the fact that people see what Mr. Governor is doing, which encourages them to do more. That was the bargain I had with him when I was asked to take on this role. He promised I was not going to hinder us from performing, and I was going to give us free hand to operate, and I will make sure that every penny we make is judiciously used for Ekiti people. And I think we can all appreciate that he has fulfilled that promise. That's number one. Number two also is that Mr. Governor also gave us signed autonomy, financial, in all the things, such that we are now not totally independent, but we are autonomous. We still relate to the government, but we operate more or less like a private sector mentality. Much of my background has been from the private sector, where we are given a target and we work by that target, and we do everything possible. We remove some of the bottlenecks, some of the bureaucracy, some of the inefficiencies in the system, and of course also we've also leveraged on technology. For example, instead of locking 10 shops to collect 200,000, can you leverage on technology to get one taxpayer to say, sir, you are underpaying, you have to pay extra 500,000, and the person will come, please let me just pay, I don't want trouble. That's another one. Another one is the fact that the staff also are motivated, because if you are paying peanuts, what you succeed in hiring will be monkeys. So in the remuneration of the staff also, we've tried to make it better than it used to be, such that those people that were also stealing also have to caution themselves, because they know if you are patient and you do your work very well, aside from your salary regular pay, sometimes there is also room for incentives to motivate you to perform better. And of course, we've also had to block lots of loopholes, lots of leakages. In the last 1.5 to 2 years now, for example, you could pay your taxes anywhere in the state and collect your receipts. When we came on board, if you paid in Omo, you paid in even in Canada, you will not be able to collect your receipt until you came to Ado. We decentralized that one, that wherever you pay, at least about 26 offices, wherever you pay, computers are there now, printers are there. Even in the new law, some of the things in the old laws were lifted, which is that you should be able to get your TCC within 2 weeks of applying. But by the grace of God, with the use of technology, some apply in the morning, they get it in the evening. Some apply maybe today, they get it tomorrow. Because we've even digitalized it now such that I can sign online. The era of, chairman is not around, and then chairman comes and his table is full of papers. That era is gone forever. All these gadgets are there. Wherever I am in the world, I can review the tax something and then sign it. So that if you put correct email address when you are applying for your TCC, it's probable that by the time I sign, automatically the TCC will come to your mailbox that, Mr. Chairman, has approved your tax clearance, and you can download it and it becomes useful for you. So all this added together has helped us tremendously as a revenue authority, and that's why the numbers has moved up. We have also embarked on what I call corporate social responsibility. Yes, this is not our main core, but we also see a need to do that. For example, in our tax station in Ido, we had to do a borehole there, and then after doing the borehole, we made some pipes, water available for people in that environment that they can fetch. We're already planning one also for Okioriomi. I understand during Harmattan, during January and so, there is always a problem with water. We sank a borehole already. We are planning to put overhead tank there that people can fetch water. Also in April, when there was a storm that destroyed quite a number of properties in Ekiti, in Ado metropolis in particular, we called those that were affected, in particular those that have paid their taxes up to the previous year. We gave some of them 200, some of them 300, some of them 400% of what they have paid to us as taxes to reduce the damages caused. So that also warmed some people's heart towards that they never have seen it before. In fact, I remember the NUJ team said they had never had it before, that tax collectors would be going to the extent of even helping people. I would say, no, we are not interested in any business time, because we want businesses in Ekiti to flourish. We want Ekiti people to keep on prospering. It's when they prosper this year that they are available for us to tax next year. And so that also has helped us significantly. People also see us to be more friendly, to be more humane. We listen to all complaints, and our tax experts also, we train them more on how to be professional. Customer relation services training is never ending for us here. To our investors, we signed to Ease of Doing Business, SABA program, and internal revenue plays very major role in that. We want investors to come, and that's part of the reason for harmonizing these laws of ours. That's part of the reason why also, of all the states, I think we were the first to issue a disclaimer that anybody found on the road blocking road collecting illegal taxes should be arrested. We were the first to do that one. All these are attempts to bring in investors. And Mr. Governors also have always magnanimously granted some waiver, in particular those people that are coming for the first time that have not even made any money. Yes, the law says they should pay this, but if you force them to pay, they will run away. So where we need to give concessions as approved, we will give them concessions, so that there's one, about two of them that were giving waiver. When they were giving waiver of maybe like 2.5 million or 3 million. But what we have collected from them in the last, how many months, will be running to more than 40, 50 million. So that's the way it works. People feel at home coming to do business in Ekiti State. One of the major hindrances before was lack of airport. We now have the airport. Part of what we do also is that when we realize that any new investor has come, we pay them a visit. I personally have visited at least 2 or 3 of them. You are welcome to Ekiti State. This is what the law says you should be paying to Ekiti State. We are not asking you to pay now. We give you another 6 months. We will come back and look at how you are settling. If you have settled very well, fine. There are some that will say, okay, it was after 9 months that will now say, okay, now begin to make your remittance to the state government. For the months that you are not done, we are not going to touch, because you are just paying salaries at that time. You are not making money. It will be fair for us to be asking you to bring your capital again, to be taxing your capital. And I think so far, those ones, I have found them to even be more faithful than some of the companies that I met on ground, because they felt valued. And if you say, come for a meeting, they are the first to come. This is what we are thinking, they are forced to support us. And they have also seen us in us good partners to work with. This time last year, the whole of this place, of course, was just like a wilderness. And so the salt turning was made, I think, December 28 or so last year. And there we have with 2 edifices. Now this building is what we call the admin building. From the reception, that's where we have the reception, and then we have the ICT people at the downstairs there. We have the procurement people also downstairs. We also have an office for our store and storekeepers. We also have an office for our task, our ICT consultants, and we also have a small place for Federal Inland Revenue if they also want to collaborate with us. And we also have a big meeting room down there. And then on the first floor, we have what we call the legal department. From there, it flows to communication. From there, it flows to admin. And then it flows also to human resources department. And then it flows to maintenance department. They also have their own meeting room there. And then at this floor is more or less like chairman's floor. We have the director of finance and corporate services. We have the finance team. We have the boardroom. And then we also have other meeting areas. And then office of the chairman staff. Now, we also have a place on this floor for data. It's because GRB demands that we should have a special room where we can put some things in collaboration with them. That's what will enable us to have access to data that they may not even be in Ekiti here. So we have a room, a secure room for that also. The next building, we call it Directorate Building. It's not just directors that are there are other directors that are there. But at the frontal part, we have the road taxes. That's where you have the people that do vehicle license and anything that relates to vehicle. They are there. We also have the road safety team. They are also there. You want to do your driver's license, you want to do data capture, those ones are there. The land use charge people also are there. The Directorate of Personal Income Tax and the director is also there. We also have a directorate for new growth and other taxes. The EG is also there with our own team. That's where you have withholding tax, stamp duties, and quite a number of other things. We also have a directorate of planning, research, and statistics, and those are the ones that crunch the numbers, they do the reporting, they are there. We also have a directorate of tax audit. They are also there in that building, and the director is there. They also have a room for tax reconciliation meetings so that clients can come there and discuss with them. Also there we have what we call data intelligence units, which deal with quite a number of data something. We also have, in this building, we also have another room for what we call this the DPO, that's Data Protection Officer. Because come 2026, we'll be accessing several data from all over the country. So we needed to have a certified data protection officer. We have presented a candidate and he has passed much of the exam. So we are waiting for the induction for him to be certified. So armed with all those directorates, we are good to go. When somebody will say, what do I do so that I don't pay anything? I said, you can pray to God that God should not bless you at all, and your income should not be above 1 million. That once your income is not above 1 million, you'll be tax-free. But if you are praying that God, let me be one of the best taxpayers. I was listening to the news, I think sometimes last week, and I heard of somebody that was paying over 400 billion as his tax in a year. If somebody is paying over 400 billion as a tax in a year, you can imagine what he has kept or what he has. So if you want to be impoverished, just keep on saying, I don't want to pay tax. Well, as long as you are saying, I don't want to pay tax, you are cursing yourself. You are saying, I don't want to come to that bracket where I will pay. My own prayer for myself and for my family members is that the Lord will bless us so much that will be some of the best or some of the highest taxpayers in Ekiti State and in Nigeria. That's why he never leaves my mother, Olorire, no Sanwo-Ori. Ekiti people, I will expect them to just keep on cooperating with us. They have done very well. Ekiti people have done very, very well. from Mr. Governor to the House of Assembly, the ESCO members. They have given us all support. We expect that support to continue. And to our customers, the taxpayers in Ekiti State, you know very well that we love you. And my phone number is accessible to many of you. We want to listen to you. If you have any grievance, please talk to us before you talk to outsiders. We are the ones that will address that issues, not the third parties. If you also go to our website, we have whistleblower menu there that you can use to reach out to us. We have phone numbers that you can use to even reach out to us also. The year 2026 is going to be a good year, a year of great blessings, and of course, it is when we have peace that our businesses, our work will flourish very, very well.
What is needed to be said? This, no doubt, must have put some minds at rest and also encourage everyone to play their part as responsible members of the society. Don't forget, according to Mr. Olatono, Olori Relun Sanwori, that says a lot. Well, that will be all on the program this week. Remember, you can watch this episode and previous ones on our social media platforms showing on your screen. We will also be glad to have your feedback through same channels. Thanks for watching and goodbye.
Ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì wo jíire, ilẹ̀ yìí ilẹ̀ yá l'Èkìtì yìí ṣe, ó yẹ báyìí mọ̀ tó kọ́ yìí gbìyànjú sílẹ̀, ká mú bàrún olè Èkìtì ayé ló ń jẹ́ jù yá.